Alright, well, as you can see, we have shifted from the Jade Forest now to Crassering Wilds, because I should let you guys know that the Alliance playthrough for this is going to be much shorter than the Horde one. We're basically... I'm going to be focusing strictly on Alliance-specific stuff in this playthrough, as opposed to, like, the rest of the general story. On the Horde side of things, I'll be doing much more of, like, the actual entire campaign. On the Horde side of things, I just kind of, prefer to do it that way. Whereas here, what I'm going to be focusing specifically on is all the faction-specific stuff. Now, what I'm basically going to be doing, because the thing is, when it comes to all of this, the majority of the Pandaria stuff is actually very neutral. Now, it is true that when you go to Kunlai, there is a little bit of stuff here where you're actually reporting to Taylor instead of Nazgrim, and you actually recruit Pandarians for the Alliance as opposed to the Horde. But that's basically it. You're basically just swapping the flags as opposed to the actual missions or actual story that's happening. So basically, from here on out, like, the main thing that's going to happen is we're going to be doing this Alliance-specific stuff here in the Crassering Wilds, and then we're going to skip a bunch of stuff. We're going to be skipping the Valley of the Four Winds, we're skipping Kunlai, we're skipping Talonlong, we're skipping the Dread Waste, and so basically once we do the Alliance-specific stuff here in the Crassering Wilds, we're then going to jump ahead to the faction-specific campaign. On the Horde side of things, it was called Landfall, but on the Alliance side of things, it's called Operation Shield Wall, where you basically will set up, it's going to be over here, Lion's Landing. It's the whole campaign that, depending on what your faction is going to be like a whole campaign. This is where we'll get to see stuff like the stuff involving the Divine Bell and the Purge of Dalaran. I'll be showing the Horde side of that whole campaign in the Horde playthrough, and you're going to see the Alliance one here. And then when we're done with that, I think what we'll probably end up doing is we're going to be heading to the Isle of Thunder, because then we will see that story from the, from the Alliance side of things as opposed to the Horde side of things. And then we'll basically kind of wrap up with in terms of like any Alliance-specific like scenarios, and then I'll show the ending of the Siege of Orgrimmar on the Alliance side, and that will basically be it. So, I'm basically just letting you guys know that if you're wanting to see those, the majority of the stuff, you'll have to watch the Horde one, whereas here I'm just going to focus on Alliance-specific stuff. So my character came over here and saw this, and then this popped up. An Alliance member? Here? Elune be praised, my team has encountered a snag. We opened a portal to this land using some ancient scrolls we had found that predated Ajara's rule. Unfortunately, the coordinates provided on the tablets were warded, and the portal that meant to take us to our destination landed us in this obulette. We have been trapped here for days and slowly leeching our energies to power itself. Can you find the nearby shackles that bind the obulette and disable them? So yeah, they're basically stuck in here and are being drained to continue powering it. Imagine what that feels like. That's gotta feel pretty horrible. You're literally frozen in time, you can't move, and you're being drained to continue keeping yourself frozen in time and such. That's gotta be a horrible feeling. Absolutely horrible. Alright, so fortunately we have now freed these guys. Oh, by the way, I'm going to go ahead and also make sure I get this right. A viewer reached out to me and responded to a video that I did some time ago and clarified something for me. And hold on a second, I'm pulling up my studio app here. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to Seasick Taco. I hope you are watching this. Shoutouts. Thank you for clarifying something about this set here. I mentioned in a video how I had the sets from completing the trading post, but I didn't know what the difference was. What he clarified for me was that one of these sets will show... Let me go ahead and... Alright, so the reason they're labeled like this, the moon one is supposed to look like this. The sun one is supposed to look like this. Cycle is that this will swap back and forth depending on the time of day. That's the difference between them. So if you actually want to wear this set that will actually change its appearance based on the time of day, then you go ahead and wear this one. If you just like one or the other, if you just like the sun one or the moon one more than the other, then go ahead and go with that. So thank you, Seasick Taco, for clarifying what I was really confused about. I appreciate that. So, anyways. So this is Lorekeeper Vaildrin, and this is Lilia. She's a Sentinel Commander. Now I want you to remember her. Just go ahead and keep her name and just remember her as we go forward in Alliance story content. Okay, like just keep her in the back of your mind. Just remember her.
What brings you here?
By the way, we're probably going to be doing some similar quests you've already seen me do on the Horde side, because as opposed to us working with Dezco on the Horde side, while keep in mind, he's trying to help save his wife from dying while she is pregnant with his twin sons, we are here with these Night Elves. Fabulous, your timing was impeccable. Another day in there and I think I would have wasted away to nothing. Now we can continue our search for the Pools of Youth.
May the stars guide you.
Father, we need to deal with the Horde Scout first. By the way, Kang was outside the bubble going, huh, how strange. I used to live only for the pursuit of knowledge, but now I spend every waking hour searching for a way for our people to rekindle our lost immortality. What are you doing here? We're on a quest to find the Pools of Youth. The fabled waters were a boon of mysterious lost civilization that predated Queen Ajara. With these waters, we'll be able to restore the glory of immortality to the Kaldorai. Uh-huh.
Good luck.
I wonder if I could bother you for another task. My daughter, the good sentinel Lilia here, refuses to let me go into the field. I've spent every day in that obulette staring at the ruins to our north, itching to investigate. If we are where I suspect we are, those ruins could contain the key that we need to finding the fabled Pools of Youth. Please, go to those ruins and salvage any tablets that still have writing on them.
Denadris.
What brings you here?
You saved the lives of my sentinels, hero. You have my everlasting gratitude. Now we can continue with our mission, so let me hear from you. What are you doing here? Well, my father would tell you that we are here for the Pools of Youth. The real story is that Our Lady Tyrande Whisperwind, oh, she's so wonderful, has had visions of a great light that we will find on this journey. A light that we will need, I think is what she means to say, to be found, that will need to be found, to be found defended. My father insists that it is the Pools of Youth. I think he's blinded by a decade of obsession. Uh-huh.
Delnadris. Farewell.
Horde Sunwalkers! We saw one of their scouts patrolling by the obulette not long before you arrived. I don't know how he got here, but I can guarantee you that he isn't alone. They never are. Kill the Sunwalker scout before he reports our position.
Be careful.
What do you need?
The hidden master may have to wait. Look at these people. They are so thin. They must be starving. You know what we need? A big steaming bowl of scrubbing delight. If you find yourself near a river, try rounding up some intact skidward glands, and I'll cook up a batch.
Goodbye.
So, like I said, very similar quests. When we did this on the Horde side, it was, of course, a Night Elf Scout that we had to take down. This time we're going to be facing a Sunwalker. Now, I want to bring to your attention a perception that apparently some people in the Alliance, including these Night Elves, or rather Lilia specifically, may have about the Tauren, which I just find incredibly amusing and hilarious. You're going to hear them say something about the Sunwalkers, which I just find hysterical because it just doesn't sound right. Basically, she's going to say that the Sunwalkers are like these horrible militant servants of the Horde, which I'm just like, you know these are Tauren, right?
First.
Like, a Tauren, if they're pushed to fight, yes, they are formidable, but that's not within their nature. Like, we know this about Tauren. We know that the Tauren are, like, some of the most, like, gentle people around, and actually, like, care about the environment and, you know, the Earth Mother and all that, right? So just remember that for when we actually, like, report back to Liliel. And pay attention to what she ends up saying about the Sunwalkers, which, again, I just find quite amusing that she would actually say that about Tauren when we know that's not really true. Well, there's a bunch of tablets here. Oh, somebody already came through and took out a bunch of the Mogu already. I was like, shouldn't there be a bunch of Mogu here? Oh, because they're already destroyed by another player. Okay, that makes sense. Alright, whatever. I'll have to pick out some other mounts to use for this.
Slow down. Enough of that.
With this, I can make a stew potent enough to knock these whalish elves on their feet.
White Tiger watch over you.
Go in peace.
It is one thing to research the lost dynasties. It is quite another to visit their ancient ruins. I'm giddy that I have not felt in centuries.
Good luck.
Oh, fabulous, fabulous! Your one trip has advanced my research more than 10 years of reading dusty tomes and decaying scrolls. And those Mogu you saw, I've been doing some research as well as speaking to Kang on the subject. As well as speaking to Kang on the subject. I suspect now that they were the race of the lost dynasties that my research is derived from. Of course, that also means that they are the ones who used to control the pools of youth.
Farewell. Go in peace.
Huh. Alina Whisperblade is here.
Hello. Goddess
Oh,
watch
what was that
over
she
you.
said?
Good
Hold
luck,
on.
friend. How may I help? Ishnu Allah.
Something about Tyrande
Farewell.
picking her for this mission.
Goddess watch over you. I am honored. Del Nadris, what brings you here?
I hate it when it's just like, oh, hey, we're gonna have this random dial. Okay, here we go. Tyrande handpicked me for this mission. She said it was because of her visions, but I'm guessing it was because of my father was the one who talked her into approving the mission.
Good luck, friend.
Sunwalkers are not to be trusted. They're the most militant branch of the Tauren armies within the Horde. Oh my... Okay. We could probably agree that, yes, amongst the Tauren, they might be the most militant, but they're paladins. And they're still Tauren. Like, if we go over to Desgo, does he really come across as extremely militant? Thank you for your help in this. Please accept this as a token as a reward.
Farewell. Del Nadris.
While you were at the ruins dusting off tablets for my father, I lost 5 scouts to wandering Mogu patrols. These creatures apparently have little interest in peace and are about as trustworthy as the Horde. They're too numerous and we're too weak, however. Go to the ruins west of here and cull the Mogu numbers. They won't be expecting a demon hunter. No, they will not, because they won't have any idea what that is. My daughter, Lilia, would have me spend the rest of my days cleaning a temple. Bah! I've never felt so alive as when I chose to step through the portal to this strange and beautiful land.
May the stars guide you.
Perhaps these Mogu know where the pools are. Our scouts have reported seeing a commander along the southern side of the ruins of Dojin. Kill him and take whatever information he's carrying. They should lead you to the pool.
Del Nadris.
The Mogu really like their poisons and curses. Mama Bramblestaff always said that lotus tea cures any Mogu curse. I saw some imperial lotus plants in the nearby ruins of Dojin. We should go gather some of their leaves and keep them on hand just in case the Mogu get unruly. Also, this will give me a chance to introduce my fist to some Mogu faces.
Until next time.
Come, my apprentice. You are my apprentice, right? Go ahead and tell yourself that, Kang. Come on, keep up. And apparently he at times is going to just float in the air.
It is too far away.
I'm still not sure about these references to torture regarding the pools of youth. Well done. It looks like the Mogu are here to collect ancient relics and weapons from their forgotten dynasty. That is a problem we can face later, though. Ah, here's a reference to the pools of youth. North. Go north to the pools of youth. Get some of the water, but be on your guard. The Mogu lists this as a high-value target. Kang Bramblestaff will meet you there if he is not already at your side. So this is actually one of the reasons why I don't want to do the rest of the main quests on this Alliance character, because, well, there's really no point in doing the same quest, the exact same quest, twice. The only reason I'm doing these quests, which you've already seen me do, is because it has a little bit of a different story to it involving these Night Elves, compared to the one we did on the other side that involved the Horde and the Tauren. The real fun is going to be when we get to the
I need to get closer.
the campaign that was for the factions and the ongoing war once the leaders, because what I find interesting, and I may talk a bit more about this when we get to it, is that throughout this Pandaria campaign, we, the player, are going around learning all these things, like experiencing these lands, going through the quests, and learning a whole bunch of information about all these places. But this is before, like all the major leaders of the factions show up. Because, keep in mind, it's right now just us and a few from our faction that survived the initial, invasion of Pandaria.
Speak up. Good.
That's it. You pick, I punch.
White Tiger watch over you.
So when they get here, what are they digging up? I've never seen Mogu use tools and weapons like those before. So when they eventually get here, they have to basically rely on us because we have learned so much that they're just like, okay. Like, look, we need you to tell us the things. And they're having to learn about these things, like, for the first time. Like, I'll show this on the Horde side. When Garrosh first gets here, he doesn't know about, like, the Mogu and everything about them. He has to learn about it, even though we have already learned about those things. And the same thing is going to apply to Varian when he gets here as well. They don't know about any of these things because they haven't been here this whole time like we have. In case you're wondering, a period of, say, a number of weeks pass from the beginning of this expansion up until the point where the faction leaders arrive for the, what is, I guess, in this case of the campaign, is labeled Operation Shield Wall. Like, weeks pass from the time we get to we first landed the Jade Forest up until the conclusion of the story in the Dread Wastes. So we have learned all this stuff about Pandaria during our time here. And so we basically have to help them get caught up on what's going on by the time they get here, because we have learned so much, and they're just like learning this stuff for the first time. And it's quite an interesting idea, isn't it?
I need a target.
I mean, I already had that, but I didn't really necessarily need to do that, but whatever. Huh. Let me get you out of there now, Lek. Halt, supplicant! These waters belong to the Thunder King! Your presence is unwelcome! Guardians, kill these intruders! Look at that! That little guy left you some purified water. Oh, I actually missed that. There we go.
I am honored. Good luck, friend.
Well done. Another few missions like that, we might have to make you an honorary sentinel.
Goddess watch over you.
I mean, I'm already kind of wearing the armor, but whatever.
Peace be with you. Farewell.
Nothing like being mortal to give one a sense of urgency.
May the stars...
You found the pools! The waters do exist! Something's wrong, though. I feel equal parts shadow and light swirling in this vial.
Del Nadris.
Something is off. The water feels strange. When we arrived here, I felt the presence of the light, strong and vibrant far to the north. I thought it would be the pools of youth, but this water is tainted somehow. Stained with Mogu magics. I think it best I try only a sip and we see what happens.
Go in peace.
And now for the moment of truth. Father, are you okay? Ah! That hurt.
Greetings.
What happened? The water, it only transfers life. It will not make new life.
Del Nadris.
I am honored. Be careful.
So my father just wasted 20 years of our lives on a fool's errand. I'm taking charge. When Tyrande sent us here, she was very specific that we not come back until we find the source of the light that she saw in her visions. It's obvious now that the pools of youth were not it. I want you to look for my scout. I sent her to investigate the Crane Temple, but she hasn't returned. Get her report and rendezvous with us at the Sentinel base camp further west.
Del Nadris.
Sentinels saddle up and prepare to move out. Zintar, carve us a portal to the next location. We're leaving a small garrison here and pressing northward. Northwestward. This may take a while. There's Koro. But we are not doing that, of course. Now we head to this other Sentinel camp.
Ishnu Allah. Goddess,
Oh,
watch
hold
over
on.
you.
Sentinel Commander Lilia, west beyond the ruins of Dojin are the marshes of the Krasarang River. Among the riverlands, I came across a refugee camp of Pandaren who have fled their Crane Temple along the southern coast. They appear to be faced with a physical manifestation of despair that is welling up from the ground, infecting the local habitat. They need help. It's my intention to assist these refugees and then rejoin the rest of the Sentinels as soon as possible.
How may I help?
Well, timed as usual. It turns out the Mogu know how to use portals as well.
Be careful. Good luck, friend.
We were searching the ruins south of here when the Mogu fell upon us out of nowhere. Some of us were able to retreat to this encampment, but many others were captured. The Mogu have also caught a number of the Horde who happen to be in the area as well. Please, rescue any sentinels that you can. Leave the Dawn Chasers to their fate.
Farewell. Goddess, watch
The
over
Mogu reclaimers are using portals to connect to Kunlai Summit, bringing reinforcements and supplies. What's worse, they're sending their captives through these portals. Go to the ruins of Korja and destroy as many of these Korjan reclaimers as you can find.
Good luck, friend.
Mogu do not use arcane magics. They are thugs. They have always been thugs. Only when they ruled their empires in the old stories did they ever know any kind of magic. But these Mogu are using arcane portals and old artifacts. We need to stop them. Look for any artifacts that the Mogu are using to cast their magics with. I saw piles of these items being collected near the ruins of Korja south of here.
Until next time.
So, I talked about this when we did this on the Horde side. Here's something that really irritates me about this particular quest. The Mogu have captured both Sentinels and Dawn Chasers, both Horde and Alliance, because the Mogu don't care. If they're not Mogu, they are a lesser race, therefore they are supposed to serve them as slaves, right? So of course we free the Sentinels, but we can't free the Dawn Chasers. And this was the same thing on the Horde side. I was only allowed to free Dawn Chasers and not the Sentinels. Because, as the guy on the Horde said, leave those Alliance filth to their fate. Well, Lilia said the same thing. She says, save the Sentinels, screw the Dawn Chasers. Again, these are Tauren. If there's any race on the Horde that actually, like, that I would think the Alliance would actually have any kind of, like, you know, genuine, like, either respect or, like, okay, they're not so bad for, that it would be the Tauren.
Let's get closer.
But no. Doesn't matter what race they are part of the Horde, therefore, they are filthy, disgusting, mongrel animals. Now, I'm not really trying to be anti-Alliance here. What I'm trying to also point out is that there's a couple things. One, I'm trying to point out that this happens on both factions, regardless of which faction you're playing. You're only allowed to free the captives of your own faction, and you are forced to leave the captives of the other faction here. It's the same way on both factions. But I also get very tired of people talking about the Alliance as if there are these goody-goods that never do any wrong, and they're absolutely wonderful and completely flawless, and they're the good guys. And then I see them do things like this. I'm like, oh yeah, the good guys are just leaving these poor captive Tauren to be slaves to the Mogu. Because they're not Alliance, they're Horde. Therefore, just leave them to their fate. Does that sound very good guy to you? This is why I get very irritated and tired of the constant, like, oh, like, you know, the Alliance are wonderful good guys. And I'm just like, really? The good guys leave people to be enslaved by a race like the Mogu? No!
I need to target something.
And yes, I will admit, I do tend to favor the Horde a bit more than the Alliance, but at the same time, I'm trying to also, like, you know, at times I do try to actually, like, show both sides, whether they are doing good or doing bad, and show that, okay, they're basically... The entire point of doing 2 separate playthroughs is show both sides of the story and see that both sides are at fault when it comes to these things. Because there are fanatics on both sides when it comes to this, and there are wrongdoers on both sides, that neither side is right, that both sides are wrong. Because even though I mainly side with the Horde on things, that doesn't mean I give the Horde a free pass on things when they do things like this. I was upset that I couldn't free the Night Elves here and just leave them enslaved to the Mogu when I was doing this on the Horde side. And I feel the same way doing this here. Not because I have any Horde favoritism, but I consider it wrong to leave anyone, regardless of race or faction, to be enslaved to a race like the Mogu especially. Because we know how much the Mogu are just like, you know, have this perception that we are lesser beings, therefore we have to be slaves to them.
What do you need? Enough of that.
Well done. You've removed the sword from the child's hands.
Good.
Very appropriate way of putting that.
Hello. Be careful.
There are so few of us. It's a great relief to see such help.
Farewell.
You've bought us some much-needed breathing room to lick our wounds and prepare a counterattack.
Del Nadris.
Welcome. There is no hurry. Next one is on me.
Well, this is the only one,
Tell
so...
me of your travels. Jade Serpent guide you.
Alright, this is the one where we go kill the Mantid.
Protect you.
And it's the only one here, so we'll just go ahead and do it now. Now, when we did this on Horde, Desco was over here waiting for us. So let's see what happens when we go over here as Alliance. Oh, hey! Stoneplow Envoy and Fildren.
I'm listening.
Help me. These poor Pandaran are in need of healing and my powers are weakened. I did find an old tome in my collection that allowed me to convert the herbs that you collected earlier into a healing poultice. Use this on the injured Pandaran and it should get them back on their feet.
Farewell.
Welcome.
Where did all these Mogu come from? Yeah. It may have something to do with them kind of getting a resurgence along with the Zandalari and, you know, wanting to revive the Thunder King. It may have something to do with that. Possibly.
I need to target something first.
You know, I will admit that there are some people I know who are first and foremost Alliance players instead of Horde players that I would love to ask them what they think about some of these things and like hear them kind of like talk about it, defend it. But then again, I know there are some things that some Alliance players would love to question me about in terms of the Horde. But I know that there are also plenty that have talked about how a lot of stuff we do here, we do begrudgingly, or we do so in the intent of being a double agent. A number of things we do here are in the means to help take Garrosh down.
Hello. There is no hurry.
Thank you for your help. I've never seen anybody stand up to the Mantid like that before. Well, other than the Shadowpun, of course. Or just wait till you see me go to the Dreadways.
Greetings.
It's been a long time since I rolled up my sleeves and helped the needy. In my lust for immortality, I forgot why I became a priest. Thank you for reminding me that there is good in this world. That there is good in this world worth fighting for.
Good luck, friend.
They have my daughter! Brojai, that Lord Reclaimer. I can see him clearly through Lialia's eyes. That foolish girl must have tried to take him head on. Please, go to the ruins of Korja and try to free her. I'll get Kang and try to draw out the Brojai from the ruins with a distraction.
Go in peace.
I'll work out which other mounts I actually want to use for this. So, I'm just pointing this out once again. On the Horde side, we came here to free Kor. We, of course, left Lyalia here to stay captive. Now, on the Alliance side, we are going to do the opposite. We're going to free Lyalia and leave Kor here because he's Horde, so screw him, according to Alliance.
What brings you here?
It's a trap!
Goddess watch over you.
Hello. So, he killed her. Kor, no! Lyalia, no! You failed to bend the knee to our power? Then die like the vermin you are! He just straight up killed them, and so now here is both Vaildren and Dezco here fighting side by side against Lamogu. Guardian, awaken and defend your master! What now, Sunwalker? I think we have both lost enough today, old elf. See to your dead. Agreed. Lyalia, I'm so sorry, my child. Meet me at the Sentinel base camp. I must bring my daughter's body there. We still have the Water of Youth. Remember that we learned that it can transfer life? Yeah, you can probably see where this is going. Because, well, what parent wouldn't be willing to do something like this for their child?
Ishnuala.
Thank you for avenging my daughter. I am not willing to let her stay dead, however. I still have the Waters of Youth.
May the stars guide her.
She is headstrong, my little Lyalia. I should have known that she would try to challenge the Lord Reclaimer. Since her mother died, I forsook much of the time that I should have spent with her in search of immortality, insisting that we could live forever together. And now my obsession has cost my little Lyalia her life. Please, when she wakes, tell her I love her.
Farewell.
I spent so long trying to find a way to extend my life that I forgot to live it. And now, this folly would cost my daughter her life. The water may not create life, but at least it will let me transfer it. I love you, my little Lyalia. And he transfers his life for his daughter. Father? No! No, not for me! Not for this! He gave his life so that his daughter could live.
I am honored.
He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have paid for my mistake.
Farewell. Ishnu Allah. Del Nadris.
So we will see Lyalia again, but let's just say for now, imagine that whether she asks us to leave or leave her be by herself, or whether we recognize that she needs time alone to grieve for her father and come to terms with what happened, that he was willing to give his own life so that she would live. We're going to leave her for now, but we will see her again later. And so that basically ends the Alliance portion of the story here in the Krasarang Wilds, which of course is the Waters of Youth. So, like I said, there may be some Alliance unique stuff here in the Kunlai Summit, but there's really no need for it. Like, yeah, you get to set up West Wind Rest for the Alliance and have Pandarans join the Alliance instead of the Horde, but really that's basically it. The real unique stuff for the faction, however, is going to be while we stay here And we are going to, let's say we fast forward in time, pretend that our Night Elf Demon Hunter here has now gone on to do all the other questing in all the other zones. We've done the whole thing in the Valley of the Four Winds and here Grasserang. We did the Kunlai Summit stuff. We gained entrance to the Valley of the Eternal Blossom. And we did all the stuff in Talon Steps and the Dread Waste. In fact, hold on a second. There is one thing that I would not mind if I can just go ahead and do this on my own. Maybe a little rough, considering like how up I have to go. There is one thing I want to check, which I don't think there's any reason to, because I'm pretty sure there is no unique dialogue option. There is something I do want to check, though. How many of you remember, or how many of you if you've been watching my Horde playthrough of this, know that when we went up here to Kunlai, and we went over here to meet the White Tiger, that a certain prince from Stormwind, who we saw in the Jade Forest over there, was trying to gain entry here into the Vale, which, ignore that it looks like this, that doesn't happen until later, but is trying to gain entry to the Vale because he's trying to find out more about the healing properties of this place. So he makes his journey up here to Kunlai because he wants to gain entry to this place. And one of the ways he wants to do that, which let's also pretend that on our Alliance character that we go down there, and we also spend time helping out Anduin in order to then deal with the Shaw of Despair. And he's like, oh, hey, my friend, good to see you, you know. Because basically there's no difference between us doing that with him as either Horde or Alliance. It's the exact same thing. There's really no difference. But let's just say we are down there, we help him with the Shaw of Despair, and we're like, alright, Anduin, we'll see you later. And then we come up here. And this is where we find Anduin here. Now, we don't get to talk to Desco as...
have been more destructive than the Mantid and the Mogul
We don't get to talk to Desco as a member of the Alliance. We talk to Anduin instead, who then basically just has us do this. I'm only pointing this out because, remember, the Horde character got to talk to Desco and was like, hey, why don't we capture Anduin for the Horde? There's nothing equivalent to that as an Alliance character, which kind of irritates me when there is no equivalent on the other faction of something else. It's like how in BFA, there was that incident in the... what was that zone called? Here in Colteros, do you guys remember in Stormsong Valley when we had this quest where the Horde invaded a village and was basically burning it to the ground? The thing that really irritated me about that was that there was no equivalent to that on the Horde side. We never saw the Alliance doing that to a village in Zandalar. Now, I guess you could probably consider what they did over here in Zuldazar when they did the Dazar Lore raid. You could probably consider that the equivalent, but they really weren't doing what the Horde was doing there. And I always hate it when there is no equivalent on both factions of the same thing, you know? So when we come back, we will be starting Operation Shield Wall, where Varian and the rest of the Alliance forces will be landing on the shores of Pandaria. Stay tuned.